Hallo Miners, and welcome back. Today I am going to be showing off my favorite dragon in all of Magic the Gathering. We are showing off Ugin the Spirit Dragon in its two most recent printings as Planeswalkers, in Ugin the Ineffable, which was from War of the Spark, and then Ugin Eye of Storms, the new Ugin out of Tarkir Dragonstorm. And this is kind of a different take on the old 12 post ramp deck. So we have a whole bunch of super high-end stuff here that we're trying to cheat out early thanks to the synergy of all the various locus lands, such as Cloud Post, Glimmer Post, and then Planar Nexus, also counting as a locus, and then also using Urza's Tower because the synergy between Urza's Tower and Planar Nexus, and then Ancient Tombs just to ramp out our spells as quickly as possible. This is a lands and artifact ramp deck where our curve really realistically begins at 4 because what we're trying to do is use our mana ramp or using things like Grim Monolith and our Manifold and Voltaic Keys to be able to untap it to ramp out a One Ring or a Karn as early as turn 1. We also have Golos that we can ramp out to go find one of the missing lands pieces to jump up on our mana count as well, to eventually get to the point where we are casting our planeswalkers to be able to end the game. So starting with Ugin the Ineffable, it is the 6-mana version that has a nice little static ability where all colorless spells you cast cost 2 generic mana less, and our entire deck is colorless spells. So it's going to give us a discount on every single one of our colorless spells that we cast, as long as it stays on the battlefield. It can also uptick to like pseudo manifest, where instead of if the manifest is killed, the card goes to your graveyard, it goes to your hand instead as long as Ugin's on the battlefield. Or you can down tick it to blow up any colored permanent that your opponent has. So it's a nice way to be able to establish a board presence and act as a little bit of removal and act as additional ramp into your other higher things. The game ender here is going to be Ugin Eye of Storms, which is a 7-mana planeswalker, which seems like a lot, but we can get up to like 9 mana on turn 3 in some cases, or even more than that. So this is coming down way ahead of curve. It also has a really nice cast trigger where when you cast it, you exile a permanent with 1 or more colors, and anytime you cast a colorless spell, you get the same trigger. And since everything in our deck is colorless, every single spell you're casting is turning into a removal spell, and it's an exile removal spell. It's not a destroy for this Ugin, so you don't have to worry about it coming back. You don't have to worry about any annoying dying triggers, stuff like that. Gets around indestructible, so it can just mop up the board as soon as it gets onto the battlefield. Its abilities are pretty nice too. You can plus it to gain 3 life and draw a card to get some advantage, and to recoup some losses from the early game. You can 0 to add 3 mana to keep the chain going to cast more things to act as more removal spells. And it's -11 basically ends the game. You search your library for any number of colorless cards, and then you can cast them without paying their mana cost, which is just literally going to wipe your entire opponent's board off of the map, other than their lands. So while it's not win the game on the spot, it's essentially win the game on the spot. At the very top end of the curve here, we have Kozilek's Command. Y'all know what this does: card draw, ramp, graveyard hate, or removal, whatever form you need it to be. And with the amount of ramp we have in this deck, we are going to be able to just absolutely blow the X number out of the water in this deck. You're going to be casting it for absolutely huge amounts. It's going to honestly be quite asinine. To get us to our later game threats, we have a little bit of disruption in the form of Trinisphere and Ensnaring Bridge. All of our spells are realistically 4 or more, so Trinisphere isn't really going to hurt us, and we're going to have just asinine amounts of mana anyways, so we can pretty much just play through a Trinisphere as if it doesn't exist. And then Ensnaring Bridge, this deck creates so much mana, you can pretty much dump your hand at will pretty easily, so being able to turtle up behind an Ensnaring Bridge until you can get your game-winning Planeswalkers on the battlefield is actually pretty easy with this deck. To be able to work your way through it and get what you need, we have 3 copies of the One Ring. You all know what that does. Just churn through your deck. We can untap it with our keys to be able to draw even more. We have 2 Golos Tireless Pilgrims, which help us find any missing lands we need to be able to jump up mana-wise. It also just gives us a decent blocker if we need to be able to protect our Planeswalkers if we don't have an Ensnaring Bridge. There's also a cute little synergy where we can kind of bounce it back and forth as an infinite blocker with a Karakas as well, which the Golos itself can actually tutor out if you need to. And then as a supporting player and a theoretical game winner, we have Karn the Great Creator, one-sided Null Rod effect, tutor stuff out of your sideboard to end the game. Y'all know what it does already. The one of fun of in this deck that's kind of unique is Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Because of the fact that we have Golos, we have Expedition Map, we have multiple ways to be able to tutor this out, and we really don't have creatures in this deck for the most part. Like, we're winning with our Planeswalkers, or we're locking the game out with, like, Karn Mycosynth Lock, so we don't really get affected by a Tabernacle at all. And we can just wipe our opponent's board by blowing up their lands with Karn and Liquid Metal Coating, or Karn and Mycosynth Lattice, so they can't pay for their creatures anymore, and they just lose their whole board presence and eventually lose their entire board as we just destroy everything if they don't concede before that point. In the sideboard, you've got your Karn Tutor package, your normal stuff that you're going to shoot for, Mycosynth Lattice, the One Ring, Crucible Worlds, Liquid Metal Coating, Tormod's Crypt, 2 Disruptor Flus to shut down problematic permanents. Wasteland is a problem for this deck, so that is something that you are frequently naming with your Pithing Needle or Disruptor Flute just so that they can't mess with your mana, because this deck is very mana intensive. Even though our lands produce a shitload of mana, they are still a weak point that your opponents can attack. There's also one of Golos in the sideboard to be able to act as a land tutor as well. As far as other stuff in the sideboard, it's mostly just anti-combo hate. You got Mindbreak Trap for Storm-style decks. You've got Fairy Macabres and Surgical Distraction for graveyard-centric decks, and then you've got 2 Dismembers to be able to get rid of, like, problematic creatures, something like a Collector Roof, a Thalia, something along those lines, just to be able to take care of any creatures that your opponent is going to use to try to hate on your game plan. So let's see if we can just go way, way over the top of our opponents with this deck. See if Ugin still is the strongest Planewalker in existence, and I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, let's see if we can ramp our opponents out of the game here. Won the die roll, let's go. This is not keepable. If we had a second land, this would be pretty sweet, but I don't trust drawing into one. This is interesting. Being on the play, not knowing what our opponent's doing, it feels a little weird to run out Pithing Needle right away. We could always just start on Wasteland Pass, see what our opponent does, and go from there. So I think we're going to keep this. Cozy's Command is a good thing to do. I'm just debating. It's between the Glimmer Post and the Kozilek's Command here that we get rid of. We could also just put the Pithing Needle back. We don't know what our opponent's doing anyways. So yeah, let's just put the Pithing Needle back for now. We will start off on Wasteland Pass and sculpt our plan from there. Alright, opponent will get into 6 as well. We are going to start off on a Wasteland and Pass. Like, our deck is definitely able to do far more explosive things here, but I also don't like mulliganing super deep with this deck. And seeing as we're in the blind here, Pithing Needle may be good, it may be completely useless, so... Alright, Polluted Delta from the opponent. Is that a fair Polluted Delta or an unfair Polluted Delta is the question. Another Kozilek's Command. I think we'll just play out another Wasteland. If this gets dazed, so be it. But we want to be able to set up so that we can do stuff later. Alright, Grim Monolith did resolve. Worst case scenario, we can always Kozilek's Command for 1. If they try to, like, Entomb Reanimate shit here. Okay, no, they got an island. Into a Brainstorm, okay. But we do have the ability to Kozilek's Command to exile something from their graveyard if they're on Dimir Reanimator. Grabbing basic island doesn't really tell us anything because they're just playing around the Wastelands for right now. Also, letting the Grim Monolith resolve doesn't necessarily mean they don't have counter magic. A lot of players will let this resolve and try to counter whatever the big thing you get off of it is later. Ponder from the opponent, okay. This still doesn't really tell us much of anything at the moment. We could also try to just slam an Ugin the Ineffable. I think what we want to do, though, is probably play Glimmer Post, hold up Kozilek's Command, do it on their turn. They did not shuffle off of that Ponder. Into another Polluted Delta, okay. We still don't really know what's going on over there at the moment. I don't hate Ancient Tomb. I think we're going to go ahead and play that. Pass a turn, hold up Kozilek's Command. We could do a small Cozy's Command for 2. Just make some Dorks and Scry. That way we're not tapping down this Grim Monolith and just completely, like, blowing our load. Just for it to get, like, dazed or Force-of-Willed. Cracking the Polluted Delta, okay. This is admittedly a much slower start than I would like to get off to with this deck, but... Tropical Island, okay. Into an Up the Beanstalk. I think I want to fire this Kozilek's Command off before they get to redraw. We will make dudes and Scry. Target ourselves. Since they already tapped their Tropical Island, there's no point in Wastelanding it yet. We can Wasteland it on our turn. This also means that if they do have a Force of Will, they don't get the cantrip off of it as well. Okay, so this is like either Sultai Beans or Bant Beans or something. They did have the Force of Will, but we got a Lorien revealed out of their hand for it, and they didn't get the cantrip off of the Force of Will. And they have a Wasteland of their own. That's totally fine. We have another Kozilek's Command. Or we have a Trinisphere. I actually like that quite a bit. Let's start out with Trinisphere. This will shut off their counter magic if they don't have another counter spell. Okay, so they didn't have a counter spell. So we've got 5 mana. That's not enough to Ugin here. We can play the Glimmer Post. And then I think we want to just blow up their Tropical Island right now. And this still allows us to Kozilek's Command for 2 next turn. If they want to blow a Wasteland, that's fine. Okay, they're blowing their Wasteland on my Wasteland. That's better than it could have been. I was more afraid of them going after the Ancient Tomb, honestly. And then this might clear the way for us to be able to Ugin the Ineffable here. Which it looks like they... What is this? I was about to say, it looks like they were about to delve something, but they don't have the right colors of mana for it. Unless it was like a Hooting Mandrills or something like that. I think they have a Murktide Regent, and they were trying to do that. So we are free to pop off here now. We can Ugin get rid of their Up the Beanstalk, but then that leaves us issues if they do in fact have a Murktide Regent. We could also Kozilek's Command for 3, 4, 5, 7. Cozy's Command for 5. Or like I said, we could just Ugin. That might be our best bet here. Yeah, I think we're just going to Ugin while the coast is clear. And then we get rid of their Up the Beanstalk so that they don't cantrip off of whatever this Delve spell they have is. And then we will pass a turn. Do they have a 3rd land to be able to do anything with? I'm a little concerned about, like, blue mana into Murktide Regent, as we blew our current removal spell on that, and we do not have enough mana to get Kozilek's Command up to Murktide Regent some mana. But it looks like they're missing a land, so I'm going to take that as a win here. And, ooh, I like that quite a bit. Because let's uptick Ugin, manifest the dude, or pseudo-manifest, and it's another Grim Monolith. We can plus Karn, or play Karn. Unfortunately... Okay, they just conceded there. I was going to say, unfortunately, we can't go get Tormod's Crypt. I mean, we could, but we can't cast it because of Trinisphere. And the discount from Ugin is only decreasing this by 1 because Trinisphere is out as well. I also always forget the static ability on this Ugin where colorless spells cost 2 less. Like, it always messes with my mind mana-wise, but we took down game 1, so I'll take that. Up against what our opponent is doing here, I don't hate Murktides, or the Fairy Macabres and the Surgical Extractions. I don't think this is a matchup where we particularly care about Golos. And then I actually think we're going to take Pithing Needle out. The only thing we would name with it would be Wasteland. So it shuts off our own Wastelands for trying to keep them off of stuff. So let's try something like that. Okay, this is a much, much faster start. And we are going to try to bait out a Wasteland with this Cloud Post to start. Unless we draw something we absolutely have to play for 4 mana on turn 2. If we draw a Wasteland, we might just blow up this Underground City, though. Another Cloud Post. Yeah, we're just going to work our way up the Cloud Post chain here. Lorien revealed from the opponent. Okay. But we're not doing anything until at least turn 3 anyways, so I'm not super concerned about that. I'm fine with trying to bait out Wastelands with these Cloud Posts, because we got 3 of them anyways. Tropical Island from the opponent. Into and up the Beanstalk. Unfortunately, we don't have the answer for this one. At least not yet, anyways. We can kill it with an Eye of Ugin on cast trigger. A Glimmer Post. I mean, we're just going to play another Cloud Post. And then next turn, we do have 7 mana if we want to just throw this Ugin into the sun to get rid of this Up the Beanstalk. Which, honestly, we might just do. Like, there's a good chance that they're going to have counter magic for our Ugin. But it gets rid of the Up the Beanstalk regardless because it's a cast trigger. And if they just happen to not have it, then we kind of just get to go to town. Okay, Witherbloom Command, mill 3, return 1. They don't have any lands in the graveyard, and they milled a Force of Vigor, Force of Will, and a Murderous Cut. So I do not hate that at all. Most of these decks are not going to be playing Daze, and this gets us to 7 mana, so we're just going to go ahead and treat Ugin as a very expensive removal spell for Up the Beanstalk. I'm assuming this is going to get countered. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't. Okay, it does. Got rid of a Rakshasa's Bargain for it. But they still lose the Up the Beanstalk. And we have another Ugin to follow this up. Granted, it's not as good, but we wanted to guarantee that the Up the Beanstalk was removed regardless. Like, that was the key there, because if they just countered this, they straight up get a card off of it and still get to keep the Up the Beanstalk. They're at a point where, okay, they're going to Witherbloom command again. It looks like they're looking for a Wasteland. They just hit a Polluted Delta. Okay. So the question becomes, is do they have more to do? I would like... Okay, Karn is nice. Do we care more about the Ugin or the Karn resolving? I think we care more about the Ugin resolving. Or, no, the Karn. So we're going to start with Ugin, see if this resolves. That does resolve. We will take up the Ugin. We have a One Ring under here. I like that. Now we will play Karn. And we will go... I always forget about this freaking reduction here. I completely overtapped for that. It's fine. I always forget about this ability. Is this good enough for a counterspell of some sort? They're brainstorming, so they're looking for a force. So they care enough about this. If this resolves, we go get Tormod's Crypt to clear out the graveyard. And it does. So we are going to go ahead and go grab Tormod's Crypt, clear out their graveyard. Where is Tormod's Crypt? There it is. Cast the Crypt. And then we are going to clear out your graveyard, play Expedition Map, and then since we have the floating mana from all the discounts, we're just going to crack Expedition Map right now. And do I want to go for an Urza's Saga, or do I want to go for a Wasteland to start trying to screw them on mana? I think I'm going to go for an Urza's Saga, because we're at a point where we can just go get Mycosynth Lattice anyways, and just lock this game up. Rainstorm from the opponent, okay. Burning Catacombs, okay. So there is also a world still where if I downtick Karn, they can flash into Bowmasters to kill it so that the Lattice doesn't actually do anything. So we're going to start with upticking Ugin, play an Urza's Saga, and I think specifically because of the line that I just mentioned, we are just going to go ahead and uptick Karn so that I can downtick it later without it just dying to a Bowmasters. And then we can get in with the Spirit Token. If they do have a Bowmasters, then they want to flash and block. It means we get a One Ring. And we get in, and we just pass the turn. We might just be riding these constructs out to victory here. Cracking their Verdant, that's fine. Gets a Bayou. Are we going to see a bargain? I believe we're seeing a bargain here. Yes, Rakshasa's bargain. Alright, so let's see what they were able to find off of that bargain. They're up to a full group of 7 again, but we have a pretty commanding board here. Like I said, we might end up, honestly, just riding this Urza's Saga to victory. Like, this looks like it might be a Murktide Regent. Yeah, it's just a Murktide Regent. We honestly don't care about that. A 6/6 Murktide is fine. We can just kill that with Ugin. And we uptick Urza's Saga. Okay. We're just gonna go ahead and blow up this Murktide here. And they scoop it up to that. Okay. I mean, we were gonna try to go grab our Mycosynth Lattice there, but we took it down. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, round 2, up against Velgrim, who I want to say is normally on, like, Cradle Control-y stuff. I know they're a big fan of the Eternal Glory group. Oh, Yorion Sky Nomad. Okay, so they're actually either going to be on Death and Taxes or, like, Yorion Beanstalk stuff. That said, this is a turn 3 Trinisphere, but not a whole lot else going on. I think we gotta ship this one. I don't hate this. I think we will keep this. We will bottom one of the One Rings. This is a turn 2, the One Ring. Start off on Ancient Tomb, play Grim Monolith. See what version of this deck they're on. Is this going to be Death and Taxes and leading off with the Wasteland, or is this going to be, like, Blue Yorion Control? Scalding Tarn, okay, so they're on a, like, control build. I will say, this art is actually super sweet. I like the little tree in it. Okay, grab the Volcanic into a Ponder. Like, the new Fetchland art from Dragonstorm Special Guest is actually pretty sweet. I do like them. Alright, did not shuffle. I'd like some more lands. We could try to just slam Golos and see how that goes. Or we hit an Urza's Tower. We could try to drop the One Ring here and then follow up with Expedition Map to try to get more mana. I don't hate that. Because if we can get this down, it resolves. That is fantastic for us. Force of Negation. Okay. Well, we'll just play the Expedition Map then. This will give us more mana next turn to try to do some stuff. Unfortunately, the Grim Monolith is now tapped. But we got 2 cards out of our opponent's hand, which I like. Misty Rainforest. They got all the special arts. Let's take a moment to admire this art right here. Alright, we hit a Caracas. I think we're going to go ahead and crack Expedition Map here. Grab a Planar Nexus. And set up for next turn. Because next turn we could just slam Ugin, put him to the force check again. Did not fetch with their Misty, okay. Into a Savannah. Now they're cracking their Misty. For a tropical island, okay. Uro. Okay, well, we have an answer for that. I'm not super concerned here. We have Caracas. If they manage to get it back into play, it doesn't really matter. Ooh, Arena of Glory. Interesting. Okay, so I think since they're not presenting being able to play Uro next turn anyways, I think we're just going to play Golos here. Or we could play Ugin the Ineffable. But I think we're just going to start off with Golos. We're taking a little bit of damage to do this, but that's fine. We'll go grab another Urza's Tower, assuming this resolves. If it doesn't, it's 2 more cards out of their hand. Okay, Golos resolved. We will go grab another Urza's Tower. We could grab something else here, like we could grab a Saga, but I think we just want more mana here. And then we play Caracas. This also allows us to be able to protect the Golos if we need to. It allows us to bounce the Uro if they get the mana to be able to replay it this turn. Or we can just try to kill it with Ugin. Brainstorm, okay. So they're not getting Uro back this turn yet. So I think next turn we just Ugin the Ineffable first. Commercial District, okay. They're struggling to find their second blue or green mana. Bin's a Plateau. So what is this, like everything but black? Evoking a Null Drifter, okay. Unfortunately, if they ever get one of those into play, that does mean I don't have any way to kill it. Another Ugin the Ineffable, that's fine. We're gonna attack. Get him with Golos, hit him for 3. And then we will play an Ugin. If they want to force this, again, it's 2 cards out of hand, I'm okay with that. Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. They can get Uro back next turn, but then I just bounce it and I play another Ugin. Or I can let them get the Uro in and I just kill it with the Ugin trigger indefinitely. I actually don't hate that. We'll see what we draw. Back up to 20, that's fine. Into a Windswept Heath. They have 4 cards in hand. Are they going to have more counter magic is the question. We might also be able to double Ugin here, depending on what we get. Alright, so we can play Wasteland. Let's start there. I think we're going to start out with this Ugin, because we can just kill the Uro, and then they have to spend resources replaying it. If they can get enough creatures in the graveyard. If they counter this, that's fine, because we can just bounce Uro back to their hand. Okay. That is totally fine by me. The question is do we want to try to get them off of anything here? There's something to be said about just getting rid of this Arena of Glory. I think we're going to. I don't want them to get anything with haste here. And we'll wait until start of combat to be able to bounce this Uro back to their hand. Cracking the Windswept Heath, that's fine. Meticulous Archive, so I think they're everything but black by the look of it. And we are running them out of shit. Prismatic Ending, that's fine. 3 cards in hand. We're running them out of a lot of their counters. I think we've seen 2 Force of Will and 2 whatchamacallit. Okay, Torpor Orb's fine. I don't care about that. What is this, a Flage? No, it is a Null Drifter. Okay. We will just bounce this now. Unfortunately, we do not have a good way to deal with this Null Drifter. And it will... We have a couple of free things to sack to it, which is fine. And we just gotta kind of hope that Ugin's enough of a distraction. Or we have a Karn. We could Karn. We don't have a Snaring Bridge on the sideboard. This Ugin isn't really doing anything at the moment, but I think we're going to cast it here. Unfortunately, it can't actually hit anything. And I can either increase my mana to be able to play Karn. If I add 3 mana, I've got 6 mana. Do I have anything in the sideboard that particularly matters? Not really. So I think we're better off just drawing and gaining some life here. And we hit another Planar Nexus, which we can actually play that, and then we can still play Karn. Still nothing to hit with Ugin. What we need to do is we need to find our Ensnaring Bridge. We can eventually turn Torpor Orb into a creature to kill it. I think we're just going to uptick the Karn for right now, so that it can survive a Null Drifter hit. They can get Uro back into play. We really need an Ensnaring Bridge is what we need. Another Arena of Glory. So they can haste in an Uro now. Or they could haste in like a Flage. Or this could be hasting in another Null Drifter, which would be annoying. Nope, it is a Flage. The question is, what are they going to hit? Oh, and an Uro. Okay, so this is just like Torpor or Titan stuff. Yeah, I think we might be dead here. We'll see how they attack. Face, face. Alright, everything is going face, including that. And we're just dead. Okay, yeah. They got us there. I was not expecting that at all. So it's Torpor Orb Titan bullshit. Got it. What do we even want against our opponent here? We can bring in one Disruptor Flute. I don't particularly think Pithing Needle is going to be super relevant here. The Dismembers can deal with the Titans and stuff. I'm not super sure Trinispheres are going to do much against our opponent here. I mean, it'll shut down some of their counter magic, but maybe we just keep one in. There's something to be said about bringing in Fairy Macabres to clear out the graveyard, but I think we kind of have the Titans covered for the most part. So let's try something like that. Is Golos going to go away? Apparently Golos wants to chill out. Okay, just had to minimize the screen for a second here. I like this. We will keep. We will start off on Cloud Post and play Glimmer Post into Grim Monolith into Trinisphere? We have a Dismember to be able to deal with a Null Drifter. I feel like their mana base is way too greedy to be running Wastelands as well, so I think our mana is relatively safe against our opponent, unless they randomly have like a Blood Moon effect. But again, their mana seems way too greedy to be running something like that. Start out with a Cloud Post, pass the turn, tapped Commercial District from the opponent, that's fine. Bend a Ponder off of it, that's fine. I don't hate Soul Guide Lantern. I think we play Glimmer Post, gain some life, play Grim Monolith, play Soul Guide Lantern, eat their Ponder, and play Trinisphere? Okay, the 3-ball was good enough for Force Negation pitching a Brainstorm. Volcanic Island from the opponent, not doing anything else. We could use some lands. Worst case scenario, we can Kozilek's Command for 1, which is probably what we're going to do next turn. Flashing in a Dress Down. Okay. Hopefully this isn't a Titan, because unfortunately Dismember cannot deal with a Titan. If it's a Null Drifter, we can kill it. Ponder. If it's just a Phyrexian Dreadnought, Kozilek's Command can deal with that as well, assuming they don't have another Force. Did not shuffle. Found an Arid Mesa. Okay, Phyrexian Dreadnought. I guess we're going to see if they have another Force here. With Dress Down on the way out, we will make a dude exile a creature. Make a dude exile a creature. Please don't have counter magic. They do not. Okay. I like that. Which means this Karn should resolve next turn. We hit an Urza Saga. I like that. We actually can now cast the Karn without popping our spawn. And we are just going to uptick the Karn for now. We don't want to grab anything with it, because in theory, if we hit any source of untapped mana next turn and they don't have a counter spell... Okay, they scoop it up anyways. I was going to say, if we hit a land... Oh, what? They scooped the whole match? I don't know if that was a misclick or what, but yeah, they just scooped the whole match. Oh, okay, on to the next one, I guess. Alright, round 3, lost the die roll. We're gonna keep this. This is a pretty good hand overall. So, we'll start out with Cloud Post, follow that up with a Planar Nexus. Opponent has an Urza Saga to start. So what kind of unfair Urza Saga shenanigans do they got going on over there? What color are we? Ooh, I like another Cloud Post. We might just go Cloud Post, then Planar Nexus and hope that a turn 3 the One Ring is enough. And that they're not on some kind of blue Saga deck. Ancient Tomb, okay. Glaring Fleshraker, okay, so they're doing the same kind of bullshit we are here. That's fine. We're gonna see if our bullshit can go over the top of their bullshit. We will play Cloud Post, we will play Voltaic Key. We can pop off with the ring harder than our opponent can. Unfortunately, we don't have a good way to kill this Fleshraker game 1. But it looks like they're not valuing making constructs off of this. So we see how hard they can go with Fleshraker here. Found a Mox Opal that's not turned on yet. Do they got a bunch of 0 drops to go along with this? Glaring Fleshraker number 2. That's a problem. Let's see how hard they can go with Fleshraker versus how hard we can go. Manifold Key. Okay, we're just gonna have 6 through the turn. We can't do anything. Let's see how crazy they go. Dismembers are definitely coming in for the next game. A One Ring of their own. Okay. Drawn off of the One Ring. They do have Metalcraft now. They have 3 mana. They could theoretically untap the One Ring to draw some more cards. Our only answer to these Fleshrakers is Kozilek's Command. Ugin, the Eye of Storms. We actually could cast that, but I don't think it's realistically going to do anything for us here, so we're going to play our own The One Ring. What we need is a Kozilek's Command. Draw off of our One Ring into a Candelabra of Tawnos, okay, which allows us to untap our Cloud Posts, which allows us to play Golos, which, yeah, we can play Golos. That's fine. I think we get Tabernacle, and then we can untap the One Ring. This at least taxes their mana to a certain extent, and we can pay for Golos no problem. Grab Tabby, and then I'm going to untap the One Ring and draw a few more cards to set up for next turn, and hope that we can find a Kozilek's Command. We at least have protection for a turn, so we'll see how crazy they can go. And we have another The One Ring, so we can do this again next turn. They're untapping theirs to get some bonus. I'm assuming they're going to sack the spawns to keep the Fleshrakers around. Okay, that's fine. We can't do anything, so we're just going to F6 through the turn. Kind of crazy colorless mirror here. And that lets them pay for these. Their mana is painful, though. And we have another turn of the One Ring protection coming. And I mean, they can go crazy this turn doing a bunch of shit here, but none of it's going to damage us. And they're just passing the turn. I'm A-okay with that. Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, Grim Monolith. They're just setting up more mana, I guess. Like, there's a world where they could, like, drop a Karn and then a bunch of the shit gets turned off, which would be annoying. Or, like, a Mystic Forge to really start popping off here, but I don't know. We'll see. They also could instant speed Kozilek's Command us for lethal, depending on how this goes, because we do lose protection from the One Ring. So if they just randomly have it, so be it. But I feel like they should have done it in our upkeep. Okay, they do have it. They were just slow rolling, waiting for our triggers to go through first. Untapping the Grim Monolith. So we theoretically could spin into 2 of our own to get rid of these Fleshrakers and survive. So there is a world where this works. But they can also spin into another one of their own, so... Okay, they have a Kozilek's Command. We're going to draw, see if we can hit a Kozilek's Command of our own. We do not. Undo that. Untap the One Ring. See if we can draw into one here. And see if we can chain together our own Kozilek's Commands. We will untap both of our lands. And what we're hoping for here is we can spin into 2 Kozilek's Commands of our own. Because we can Kozilek's Command for 7. Make Dorks. Or no, we need to... Ah, shit. So we need to exile one. And then scry, hope that we hit another. So scry and exile. Each one of these needs to be for 4. Or no, I need 10 mana total to be able to do this. Shit. Because even if one of these resolves, it's for 6. I can exile 1. I don't have any additional mana. Because these are 3 drops, not 2 drops. Takes 5 mana to do this. Yeah, no matter how we do this, I don't think it matters. Because we're not going to have enough mana for the next one. Oh, overpaid. Cast, exile, and draw. Draw, exile... 1, 2, 3. None of these matter. Put all these to the bottom. I think they got this one, unfortunately. Because we just don't have enough mana to be able to do it again. What did we even draw? We drew a Pithing Needle? Yeah, we're just dead. Okay. So they kind of slow-rolled the Kozilek's Command there, but that's fine. Against what our opponent's doing, Dismembers are absolutely coming in. Trinisphere helps a little bit, and Snaring Bridge helps a little bit. I don't think Golos is doing anything this game. Let's try that. Alright. Okay, I like the Dismember. We will keep this. I like double Dismember to take out their stuff. This is going to be a very painful hand to start, but... Ancient Tomb. Into a Grim Monolith. I like having a Wasteland as well to be able to mess with our opponent. But we'll see what they do. Urza's Workshop from the opponent into a Pithing Needle. What are they going to name? Wasteland, maybe? The One Ring. Okay, that does shut down our One Ring. It's mildly annoying. We do have some very weird roundabout ways to get around that, though. This is actually one of them, believe it or not. So we will do this. Play a Karn. And the funny part is like, we actually can kill this Pithing Needle if we want to take a metric fuck ton of damage. But I don't think we do yet. So let's down to Karn. Go grab our Liquid Metal Coating. Play the Liquid Metal Coating. And then we will Coating their Workshop in their upkeep. And try to restrict their mana. And we will Coating the Workshop. And we're just going to go on the mana denial strategy here. Until we can eventually slam down a... whatchamacallit. Okay. That shuts down Karn. But I can still restrict their mana. Oh, they chose Liquid Metal Coating. Okay, that's actually funny. Into a Glacial Chasm. Okay, so... this is going to be probably one of the funniest things you're ever going to see here. So we are going to go ahead and kill the Urza's Workshop. We are going to turn the Disruptor Flute into a creature. We are then going to dismember the Disruptor Flute. And our opponent scoops it up to that. So, yeah, super fucking roundabout way to get rid of artifacts in our colorless deck. Oh, man, that was a sweet line. Okay, now we gotta do this again on the draw is the problem. We might bring in one Disruptor Flute. I don't think we need Soul Guide Lantern. Just so we have one main deck, one sideboard, and we'll run it like that. Okay, I like this. We can keep. The question just becomes is do we want to start off on Pithing Needle? Grim Monolith, okay. Do they have the key to follow it up? Yes. Okay, I guess we're going to see how crazy they go on turn one, dumping their hand here. But we can Pithing Needle whatever they drop off of this Grim Monolith. Into a Karn. Okay, well, we'll just Pithing Needle that. What are they going to go find? Are they going to go grab... No, they're going to grab Mycosynth Lattice. Or, the Liquid Metal Coating. Well, we will just Needle the Karn. However, they are going to be able to start taxing our mana with this Liquid Metal Coating. Karn, the Great Creator. Okay. Luckily, we have a whole bunch of mana here, so I'm not super worried about it yet. Unfortunately, this very much does just feel like a whoever wins the die roll is probably going to win the match sort of matchup. Because you just, like, whoever can slam their shit first wins. This looks like it might just be a Kozilek's command. It is. It's a Kozilek's command for 4. They can still play their Liquid Metal Coating. See what they do with this. Top 2, bottom 2. Okay. Another Voltaic Key. They have basically unlimited mana. It's just a matter of do they have anything to follow all of this up with. If they have a One Ring, that's really bad for us, but there's a Liquid Metal Coating. What do you have to follow this up with? Nothing at the moment. Okay. They're going to tap down our Planar Nexus, and that's fine. What do we hit? We hit an Urza's Saga. I don't hate that. That gives us something to do. And then we can play Expedition Map. We can try to see if we can win off of the back of some Saga tokens. And we kind of just got to hope that they brick off from here. But they topped 2, which is concerning. So they have a follow-up they like. Okay, they've got a Saga of their own. Their constructs are going to be a bit bigger than ours. Alright, an opponent's just passing here. So we have to figure out how to deal with these construct tokens. Another Planar Nexus. They're probably going to tap down the Urza Saga? Yes. Okay. That's mostly fine, I think. I think we want to play the Ancient Tomb here. Pass the turn. We can activate our Urza Saga in response to them doing stuff. They have another Kozilek's command. It looks like it. Just bottom all of it, please. Yeah, I very much feel like this matchup is just whoever wins the die roll wins. It's virtually 2 ships passing in the night here. It literally came down to who could slam their Haymaker first. This is going to be a Kozilek's command for 7. Yep, there's a Kozilek's command for 7. That's fine. See what they do with the Scry Draw. They have basically unlimited mana here, so... I'd love to just see 7 bottom, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. All 7 top! God damn. Okay. I mean, there's nothing we can do here, so we'll just let them do their thing, I guess. See how they want to finish the game here. The One Ring, okay. Another Manifold Key, okay. Untapping the One Ring, drawing through all those cards they put on top. Another Manifold Key, okay. A Voltaic Key, okay. So they've got 3 untap effects and a minimum of 6 mana. Alright, untapping their One Ring to draw some more cards. I think at this point, my only realistic win con is for them to somehow kill themselves with the One Ring. Grim Monolith, okay. Another Manifold Key, okay. And they finally pass the turn. Like, we can buy some time with Glacial Chasm, but I don't think it realistically does anything. See what they want to tap down with Karn. They're gonna tap the Ancient Tomb. Okay. See what we draw. A Karn the Great Creator. Okay, I like that. We can shut down their artifacts. Oh, they're going to double. Okay. Are they shutting down all of my mana in my draw step? Because they actually have the mana to be able to do that. And, I mean, yeah, we're actually just effectively locked out of this game. They can just tap down our mana every single turn. Because they're doing this in our draw step. And they have so many untaps, they can basically just keep doing this ad infinitum here. Because this is only going to be plus 3 mana. And if they just hold up all of their mana, we're never going to get to a point where we can have 5. I mean, we can just grab whatever. It's not going to matter here. See what we draw. Oh, yeah, we drew the Karn for turn. I'm pretty sure we're just dead here, but we're going to go a little bit further. Our opponent isn't realistically showing us a win con yet. So we'll just F6 through the turn. There's nothing we can do here. Show me the win con, and then I'll scoop. Draw with the One Ring. Like, there is a world where they just don't find another One Ring, and they die to their own. But, I mean, they're going to draw basically their entire deck here, so... There's a Fleshraker. Can you kill me from here, opponent? So, like, my hope here is that they somehow fuck this up and can't kill us from here. And that we can cheese them out with Glacial Chasm and they deck themselves, basically. I mean, the chances of it are slim to none, but you still gotta go for your outs. Alright, instead of narrating all of this, I'll just kind of update as important things happen here. Okay, and a little bit later, a bunch of untaps. Opponent has 3 Fleshrakers on the battlefield, and that just burns us out here. Alright, yeah, like I said, this matchup is kind of just whoever wins the die roll wins it, and you 100% saw that, so on to the next one. Alright, I don't hate this, we'll keep this. We lost a die roll, unfortunately, but okay, up against another Ancient Tomb style deck of some sort. Okay, Chalice on 1 really doesn't affect us at all. We're fine with that. We might just go ahead and wasteland their land and try to cut them off with some shit here. Or we might just start off on Urza's Tower and we can go bonkers next turn. Because we can Ugin next turn, no problem. Cavern of Souls, so this could be an initiative style deck. No, it's goblins. Okay. This will be interesting. Into a Broadside Boomby Dooms. Well, we can kill that next turn and make a bunch of dorks, which I think is what we're going to do. Into a Cloud Post. Well, we will play Planar Nexus. Pay a Grim Monolith. Tap all of this. We will Kozilek's Command to make some dorks. Or do we want to make dorks? We have 4 mana as it is. We can kind of go crazy. I think we're going to scry an exile here. Set up our next turn. Candelabra, Urza's Saga, Urza's Tower. I don't hate Saga. I don't hate Candelabra. Like, all of this is actually pretty good, but I think we need some more payoff spells here. I think we will put that on the bottom. Saga on top, draw the Candelabra, and then our plan is to play Saga, play Candelabra, play a Golos to try to clog up the board. Human. Okay, so they are just initiative. And to another Broadside Bombardiers. Okay. I mean, we're running them out of stuff to do here. What we can do is, let's go ahead and play the Candelabra. Oh, right, that doesn't work. Never mind. We can try to get them off of some mana here. I think we're just going to play Cloud Post. That was a punt on my part. I completely forgot about the Chalice. Hopefully they're running out of mana. They didn't play another land. Okay, so it does look like they're low on mana here. So next turn, we can drop Golos, blow up a land, try to keep them off of any 4-drops that they have. Voltaic Key we can't cast. So we will play Golos. We will go grab a Tabernacle. Start taxing their mana even more. Play a Wasteland. Let's blow up the one on humans so that they can't get a whatchamacallit into play. A Seasoned Engineer. They're gonna get in with the broadside. I can't block it, unfortunately. I still do need to find an answer to that. Glimmer Post will gain me some life, which is nice. But I kind of want to get down Urza's Saga so that I can make more blockers. We will see what we draw and base our plan off of that. Saga can also go grab a key. I would love an Ugin of some sort. Lotus Petal, okay. So they still have some mana to be able to do things. And they pass the turn. A Karn would be nice. An Ugin would be nice. We have mana, so we're going to pay. Ugin Eye of the Storms. Is this enough mana for that? Yes. Because each of these is going to tap for 3 now. 7 mana. Cast Ugin. Get rid of Broadside Boomby Dooms. Okay, I like where we're at now. I feel like we stabilized, gain some life, draw a card. We can go ahead and get in with Golos now. I think we stabilized here. That was a fantastic draw. Alright, yep, an opponent scoops it up to that. Okay, so I'm having a feeling that we're probably going to see Blood Moon out of our opponent. I'm going to bring in Dismembers, bring in 1 Disruptor Flute. Trinispheres aren't going to do much against our opponent because they're a stompy deck as well, so I think those are a safe takeout. All they're going to do is shut down their fast mana, and with them being on the play, that's probably irrelevant, so let's try something like that. Okay, I actually like this. We'll keep this. As I was saying, we kind of got to worry about Blood Moon a little bit, but since they have the Cavernous Souls, they might not have it. We also just don't have a way to deal with a Blood Moon either, outside of Ugin. We gotta hope that the game goes long enough. Okay, Seasoned Engineer from the opponent. Lotus Petal. Ancient Tomb. Do they have a Spirit Guide as well? Yes, they do. Okay. Well, that is annoying. We should be able to clear our hand pretty quickly here. We also could just play Wasteland and kill this Seasoned Engineer and hope they don't really have anything to follow it up. Another The One Ring. Yeah, I think we just gotta kill the Seasoned Engineer. Just get this over with now. We probably should have waited until their trigger, but oh well. Because now they're gonna go into the Lost Well to Scry. I probably should have waited and see if they forged first, but it's whatever. What did they do with those Scries? 2 bottom. Okay, I like that. Mountain from the opponent. Magus of the Moon. Okay, well, we did say that that's something we might need to worry about, but we have Dismembers to get rid of that. We can play Cloud Posts. We might as well run this out now. And, like, we can eventually get to the point where... Because, like, it's going to enter tapped anyway. Or... I don't know what I'm saying here. We might as well get that out of the way now, so if we ever draw another whatchamacallit, Dismember, we can take care of the Magus of the Moon and start trying to go off. We also do have the mana to just get up to the One Ring. Okay, double Magus of the Moon. Hopefully we can also maybe just like empty our hand enough that none of this particularly matters. We'll play Glacial Chasm, drop down a Ensnaring Bridge. Hope that we can get enough cards out of our hand that we can kind of just hide behind the bridge for a little bit. Unfortunately, they will eventually just kill us going down the Undercity because we don't really have a good way of getting the initiative. But next turn, we can go ahead, drop a land, drop Karn. Undermount Adventurer. Okay, so their Naya initiative. Into the Throne of the Dead 3. Yeah, this one's just over. We're going to go ahead and go to the next one. That's fine. They just had a blazingly fast start. Yet again, I feel like this is another one where die roll is very much going to matter. So with all that being said, I think we just run it back, mulligan for a crazy opener, and hope that's enough to get us there. Alright, give us a crazy opener deck. This is way too slow. We gotta mulligan this. Do I hate this? No. If they have a turn 1... So the question just becomes is what do we put back here? I feel like we want to put Golos back. And we're just gonna try to dump out our hand and hide behind an Ensnaring Bridge. As shitty as that is. But we are going to run out an Urza's Saga so we can hold up to... Dismember a fast Magus of the Moon or something. Ancient Tomb for the opponent. Okay. I like them not having a follow-up. Ugin. In that case, then, I think we're just going to play a Cloud Post past the turn, hold up this Dismember still. Because we can play Ugin next turn, I think. Yes, we can play Ugin next turn. Start creating bodies, and then turtle up behind this ensnaring bridge. And we can dismember something if we need to. Like, I would love for them to just play out a Magus of the Moon, hoping that it shuts down what I'm doing. Lotus Petal. An initiative creature would be mildly annoying. An actual Blood Moon would be annoying. This looks like an initiative creature? Yes. Underbound Adventurer. Well, I can kill that at least. I don't really care about that. Okay, so we can still do what I said. A Planar Nexus would make this even better. Okay, Cloud Post. Gain some life. Play Grim Monolith. What do we want to do here? We've only got 5 mana, but we can go ahead and drop an Ensnaring Bridge so that they can't attack. And then kill the Undermountain Adventurer in response. And then next turn, that's 3, 4, 5. Still 1 mana short of Ugin. But we'll see what they do here. We'll wait for them to put the trigger on the stack. And we'll actually do this properly this time. Alright, what are they choosing? If they choose Forge, we just kill this. No, they're going Lost Well anyways. Okay. And we can still get rid of this Dismember before combat so that they can't get in with the Undermountain Adventurer. Alright, what did they do with that? 2 bottom. Okay, I like that. Unfortunately, if they just go straight into combat, we are just going to have to take the hit. Because we need to be able to kill a Magus of the Moon. Broadside Boomby Zooms. Okay. Well, we can deal with that, I guess, and just hope that they don't have a follow-up. Because this makes it so that the Undermount Adventurer can't attack now. That's dead. Please don't have a Magus of the Moon. Okay, they did have a follow-up Magus of the Moon. I mean, we actually can kind of get around that. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world. Kozilek's Command doesn't do anything, but we can play Cloud Post. They can attack with this, but we can untap Grim Monolith, play Ugin, kill the Magus of the Moon. They get some more mana, okay. Cavern of Souls, okay. Seasoned Dungeoneer, okay. So basically, we've just got to try to find a way to control the board enough that we can survive them going through the Undercity 8 bajillion times. Alright, so I have to be careful about how I tap all of this as well. Shit, I fucked that up. I needed to untap my Grim Monolith and I S6 through the turn. Yeah, I royally fucked that one up. That is 100% on me. Yeah, I F6 by accident. Welcome to Content Creator Brain. Because I needed to untap the Grim Monolith in the end step. I can't do anything until the end step anyway, so... If they hit a broadside, I'm just dead, so... That was 100% me just, like, talking my way through doing what I was supposed to do, but... It's what happens, like... You see it with all the content creators, and it really is a thing where you basically, like... You're so focused on trying to describe what's going on that you just misclick shit all the time. It happens. Into another Undermountain Adventurer, okay. Getting into attacks. Gonna get hit for 8, possibly 9? Alright, they're going to pump the power, or give this thing protection. Fable of the Mirror Breaker on top. Take a 9, down to 7. They can play a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And I can get enough stuff out of my hand that they can't attack with anything. But 2 more times through the Undercity, and I'm just dead. Unless I can get this Ugin down and start gaining life. But then I'm also going to start drawing cards at the same time. And if they have a second Magus, I'm kind of screwed. Into another case of Chaos Adventure, so they're just trying to power through this shit as quickly as they possibly can. Okay, that can't attack anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, end step. Untap this. Actually do what I was supposed to. If I can hit a Planar Nexus, I can actually kind of go crazy here. Okay. So, what I need to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold up a Cloud Post. Play Ugin the Ineffable. Blow up the Magus of the Moon. Play a Glimmer Post to gain a little extra life. I've got 6 mana. Let's go ahead and Kozilek's Command. I have mana, so let's scry and exile. I will scry. Let's exile the skeleton. Just start clearing the board here. Urza's Saga, the One Ring, Kozilek's Command, Karn the Great Creator. I think I want the One Ring to be safe, so let's bottom, 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 top the One Ring, and they can't attack with anything. We drew the One Ring, so we can get One Ring protection next turn. We can start making dorks, as long as they don't, like, turbo their ass through this thing. If they have a broadside, I'm just dead. Okay, Fable of the Mirror Breaker's fine. I'm mostly concerned about moon effects and if they find a broadside bombardiers. Luckily, this doesn't make any colored mana of any kind. They've got 2 cards left in hand. They've already used their only red mana to play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Chalice on 1, that's fine. That doesn't do anything. They have 1 card in hand. Alright, got to my turn here. Urza's Saga. Let's uptick Ugin. Make a Deuter. There's an Urza Saga under it. Play an Urza Saga. We can... It's 4... 8 mana. Play an Ugin. We will get rid of Fable the Mirror Breaker. Oh, right, it costs less. I always forget that. We can play the One Ring for 2 mana. We can get rid of their Goblin Shaman. And we still have a bunch of mana to be able to do stuff with. We get protection for a turn. We will uptick Ugin. We draw land. Do I want to risk getting another land stuck in hand? They have nothing they can attack with, so I think that's fine. We do hit another land. Okay. That is the one downside, is that eventually we will just get hit with lands. If they hit a broadside bombardiers, I think we're just dead. So that was a little bit of a risk on my part. So we just gotta dodge a broadside bombardiers. Because they can get in for 2, fling for 6. So I guess we go to 1, but then we die to the One Ring? Elvish Spirit Guide. Okay, that's not where they want to be here. Disruptor Flute. Okay, naming what? Which Ugin, or are they going to name the One Ring? They name Big Ugin. Okay, well, I can still get rid of stuff by casting colorless spells. Take a hit from the One Ring. Grim Monolith. Okay, that's free. Let's get rid of... I want to get rid of the stuff that can attack, but I need to start getting rid of these things. Uptick this Ugin. Draw off of here. I can play a Manifold Key. It gets countered, but I get to get rid of another creature. Let's get rid of that. Play an Ancient Tomb to get it out of my hand. And then we'll pass the turn, and I should be able to go wide enough now to be able to get around them. But they do get another creature. If they hit a Boomby... Okay, they hit a Boomby Dooms. I think... Well, we're not dead yet. Because we can actually block the Boomby Dooms. If they have another one, we're dead. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, okay. This board state is getting insane. Actually, we might still just be dead. Because they can throw one of these at us for 6. And then we die to our One Ring. Oh, they didn't attack! Oh, that is huge. Holy shit, that is huge. I would like to find another the One Ring, though. Caracas doesn't do anything. We will make a dude. Whoops, undo that. Alright, make a dude. Urza Saga. We will go grab a... I think we need to grab a Pithing Needle here, unfortunately. And we need to name Broadside Bombardier so they can't throw anything at our face. And then we need to tap the One Ring. Candelabra of Tawnos. Another Ugin the Ineffable. So what do we want to get rid of here? Because we can go ahead and destroy something. We can block that. We need to start working through their creatures is the problem. Whoops. We have another one, so I need to tap here. Exile another creature. Get an Ugin. Destroy another creature. The Broadside Boomby Dooms unfortunately has hexproof. Cast Grim Monolith. This will actually get us the initiative. And we may have actually managed to stabilize this somehow. This gets countered, but we can get rid of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker now. We haven't played a land yet this turn, so let's play a Caracas. And then we need to find another the One Ring. Get in with these. Because we do need to find a way to get rid of this the One Ring. We get whatever that was back. I don't even remember what it was. We get the initiative. We don't have any basics. And then I don't remember what that was under that, to be completely honest. Urza's Tower, okay. So we do very much need to find another the One Ring off of all of this stuff here. Another Fable the Mirror Breaker, that's fine. We've only seen one, and we're gonna get 5 draws? And I think we're gonna go ahead and Lostwell to set it up. Lostwell, show me a One Ring. Cloudpost Urza's Tower. We don't want either of those. Take our damage off of the One Ring. Okay, there's a new the One Ring. Okay, we have stuff to do. We will make a dude. We will play a monolith, blow up the Fable. We are starting to get to the point where we're having cards stuck in our hand, but I don't think that super matters. We can start restricting their mana. So let's play Wasteland. Wasteland their Ancient Tomb. This taps for an ungodly amount of mana. Play a new the One Ring. Get rid of this one. And they scoop it up! Okay, holy shit, we stabilized really fucking late in the game, but we did it. Positive record is locked. Going into the final round, that was a crazy one. Round 5, up against the one and only James Casau, so we know we're going to be up against Grixis Control, which is exactly the kind of thing that we want to see here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and keep this. We lost the die roll, but this is literally the exact type of matchup we want to see. Because we just prey on these dirtly decks. We might just restart the game here for the hell of it. Especially because they like whatever they saw on top. So we're just going to go ahead and Wasteland the Undercity Sewer, restart the game. We have 7 cards, they only have 6. I'd be very surprised if James is playing something else here. Mistrise Village, okay. Luckily, we're not really super worried about countering what our opponent's doing. And then we can either try to One Ring or Karn, and then follow that up with Ugin the Ineffable. I'm not sure if his lists are playing whatchamacallits, Wastelands. Ooh, he's stuck on mana. He can't daze, he could force this. I think we're gonna start off on Karn. I'd rather that get countered, if anything is gonna get countered. Okay, Force of Will, pitching a Baleful Strix. Like I said, I'd much rather that get countered than anything else at this point, so I'm okay with that. And he's still missing lands. I'm not super concerned about a flipped Tamiyo. We have ways to kill it. Alright, and passing the turn. So, because we have so many things we can do here, I think we're just going to keep working our way up the mana curve here. He's already used 1 Force of Will. That resolved. We're going to go ahead and just kill Tamiyo here. And then next turn, if we really want to, we can Ugin Eye of the Storm. But we might just try to slam the One Ring, play an Urza Saga, and start riding that out. Okay, finally hit the second land. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care about that. I am not super concerned about an Orcish Bowmasters at the moment. Another Ugin the Ineffable. Well, we're going to make play an Urza Saga. And we are going to drop a One Ring. We have protection for the turn. So we could grow this Orc army if we want to. I think that's fine. We're not going to care about that Orc army. Especially with another Ugin in hand. Because we can just kill Orc army with the trigger if they happen to have a Force of Will. Island from the opponent. Okay. So hardcast Force of Negation is possible here. But we have multiple Ugins of multiple varieties. So I'm not super concerned about that yet. We would give up a dude to do this, though. Unless we play Ancient Tomb and we go for Little Ugin? Well, no. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. We're just going to go for this one. We have so many of them anyways. And we will kill Orcish Bowmasters. See if they have another counterspell for this. We're going to play for the high roll here. We already saw 1 Force of Will, and they haven't played any cantrips yet. And if this resolves, we can just make a dude pass the turn. Okay, they're going to Cling to Dust my Ugin to draw a card. Trying to find a counter. They're also tapped out of black now, so I'm safe to tap the One Ring even if they do counter this. Cracking a Clue, okay. Okay, did hit a Force of Will. That's actually mostly fine. We can tap the One Ring safely here. And we already played a land for turn, so we'll pass the turn. What did they get rid of there? They got rid of a Brazen Borrower. Okay. That's fine. We have more Ugins where that came from. Hit a land. Getting in for 2. And passes the turn. We're going to gain a little bit of life off of our Glimmer Post. And we hit another Trinisphere. We're going to go ahead and tap this for mana. Okay, they're doing something here. They're probably just fetching in response so that I don't name Scalding Tarn, which is also fine. I highly doubt he's got an opposition agent. Correct. No opposition agent. I think we're going to grab a Candelabra Taunos here. Play a Glimmer Post to get some life. Tap Urza's Saga. Untap it. Or Urza's Tower. Tap, tap. Put him to the Force Test again. Get rid of your creature. Okay, let that go. Do you have a counterspell for this? Okay, that resolved. I guess we're going to test if he has another Orcish Bowmasters by just plussing this. And it doesn't look like he does. We are going to go ahead and cast a Trinisphere. No target. And we are not going to fall into the trap of tapping the One Ring until they tap out, because I don't want to take damage from it and an Orcish Bowmasters. Flashing back Cling to Dust, possibly? Yes. We will tap the One Ring in response to that. We hit another the One Ring. I like that. And I am going to have to discard a card, so we're going to get rid of this other Ancient Tomb. 3 mana for Thoughtseize. Behold my hand, James. And he scoops it up when he sees what we got in hand. Okay. This is exactly the type of deck that we want to be up against, because this is exactly what this deck preys on. So, seeing what our opponent did there, let's bring in Dismembers. There is a graveyard sub-theme to their deck, but I don't know if it's enough to justify bringing in our Graveyard Hate here. I think we're just going to take out the Goloses. They feel a little slow, and they feel like a liability. They're going to have removal. They might take a good chunk of it out because they saw that we're primarily a land deck, but let's try something like that. Okay, what do we have here? I mean, this is interesting. It's relatively Thoughtseize-proof, so I think we're going to give it a shot here. Delta from James into an Underground Sea, into a Thoughtseize. I'm assuming he takes the Manifold Key. Yep, takes the key. That's fine. We hit a Kozilek's Command. We're just going to play the Cloud Post pass. Badlands, okay. Into a Baleful Strix. That is fine for now. Into an Ugin. Okay, we'll play Urza Saga. And we will play a Grim Monolith, see if that's worth countering. No. Okay. I would like another land that actually produces mana, but I am in a world where I can cast Ugin next turn, or I can just try to Kozilek's Command for a small amount. Getting it for 1 with a Baleful Strix, that's fine. Passing the turn, okay. So they've got interaction of some sort over there. I mean, that's what his entire deck is. Urza's Saga, okay. I do not hate that. The question just becomes, do we want to run out another Monolith, or do we want to start making constructs? They probably have a bunch of removal. They could also just Consign to Memory this, and because I'm assuming that's in his sideboard, just so that this doesn't produce mana. And then I pretty much can never make... Okay, yeah, that's a Consign to Memory to stop me from making mana. We are going to cast a Grim Monolith then. The question becomes, with the Consign to Memory out of hand, I think we're going to wait. I don't want to tap down these Monoliths yet in the off chance that he has a Wasteland to kill this Urza Saga before it can go get a key, and then these are basically just shut off forever. Cracked into an Undercity Sewers, okay. Bend a Lightning Bolt. I also can Kozilek's Command an Opposition Agent if that's the route that he's going for here. But if he's got a Force of Will as well, then we're kind of in trouble. But he's not really presenting much of a clock, and we are accumulating mana. Alright, into a Ponder. That's fine for now. Shuffle the Library. I like that. No follow-up land, so we're not staring down an Opposition Agent. I like that. Into a Cloud Post. We will tap this for mana. Go grab a key. Grab the only key we have left, I guess. Tap Monolith. Untap Monolith. Tap Monolith. Let's cast an Ugin. See if this gets a response from the opponent. We get a Consign to Memory. Okay. We can play Cloud Post. And we can either Kozilek's Command or we can make a dude. I think we're just gonna make a dude. So 2 Consign to Memories are out of the deck now. Hit another land. That's fine. Getting in for another 1. Again, still fine. The question is, how many Consigns do they have? Tameo, okay. And looks like they're passing the turn. Let's make a dude who's already a 4/4. Like, a Fatal Push or something can ruin this, but into an Urza's Tower. We'll make a dude. And then, is this an Opposition Ace? If so, we can try to Kozilek's Command it. Yes. Okay, so they need to have Force of Will plus blue card for this to matter. We will let that hit the battlefield. We will make mana, untap, make mana, and we will cast Kozilek's Command, exile target creature, scry and draw. We will scry and draw. We will exile the Opposition Agent. Are your last cards Force blue card? No. Let's do bottom, top, draw the Planar Nexus, and then we're going to go search for something? What do we want here? Probably... Do I want Candelabra, or do I want like a Soul Guide Needle / Pithing? Let's grab an expo map, actually. Play our land for turn, get in, and then our plan will be to go ahead and go grab whatchamacallit, Urza Saga next turn. Alright, land from the opponent. Getting in with just the Tamiyo, interesting. I wonder if that means they're planning on flipping the Tamiyo, and they want to hold the Baleful Strix back. Oh, it's a Kaido. Okay. Okay. Alright, gonna stun the one that can't attack. That's fine. And then we are gonna go ahead and crack this. Go grab an Urza Saga. Our last Urza Saga. Good our turn. Into a Kozilek's command. Well, we'll play Urza Saga. We will untappable, or whoops. We will untap a Grim Monolith. Tap Grim Monolith for 3. We are going to Kozilek's command for 4. Exile a creature. Scry and draw. Exile, kill this, so that we can kill Kaido. Alright, they're doing something here. What is this? Cracking a clue. Okay, so they're looking for a force effect. They don't hit one. We can bottom all of this other than Ugin. We will draw the Ugin. And I don't have enough mana to be able to cast Ugin, but kill Kaido. We know they have a Tamiyo. This taps for 3 at the moment. We already played our land for turn, so we can just pass the turn. Okay, you can Thoughtseize me. They're going to take the Ugin. Into Tamiyo. Okay, Culligan's command. Let's get rid of the Ensnaring Bridge. Draw into a Glimmer Post. Okay, well, we're going to play the Urza Saga, or the Urza's Tower, because they know about that. They're down to 1 card. We can make 2 more constructs. Our other construct untaps. And they scoop it up! Alright, good game, James. I hope you see this on the YouTube. A nice little 4-1 with Ugin Post. We'll go over it all in the wrap-up. That was a super fun league to play. The deck did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was super cool being able to see it just like pop off and do crazy things, and being able to ramp into either of the Ugin super early, and then just the synergy of the way this deck works with Ugin Eye of the Storms, because everything is colorless, everything you cast is going to trigger Ugin, and you can just mow down everything your opponent has. We did see the one downside of Ugin only being able to hit colored permanents, especially up against that Mystic Forge combo deck where none of their cards have any color in them either. So there was actually nothing that either of the Ugins could actually hit. And we found that that was super hard to be able to deal with a Resolved Glaring Fleshraker or a Mystic Forge or anything that they had to be able to go off. And in that case, we also kind of got to see the downside of we don't really have much in terms of traditional interaction in this deck. And it ended up just being 2 ships passing the night. Whoever won the die roll ended up winning the match. But the deck was an absolute blast to play. It was able to consistently get up to the higher end of our curve to be able to execute his game plan consistently. I will still say, and I've said this before, I think Kozilek's command is a mistake of a card. I think it should be banned. Even in a deck that's not trying to abuse it with a Glaring Fleshraker, we still got to see it dig for what we need, just gives a bunch of mana to keep going. I honestly do believe it just does too much for what it is, especially when you can power it out for crazy mana values in decks like this. But yeah, the deck was an absolute blast to play. We got to see some crazy matches. We got to see this prey on the blue fair decks like it's designed to struggle against the fast combo, non-interactive decks that end up coming kind of just down to a coin flip. And then there was that crazy match up against Naya Initiative that came down to the very end. It was 2 stompy decks just trying to go over top of each other and stabilizing at the end to squeak back at 3 life thanks to Ugin just mowing down their board, and then the other Ugin creating creatures to be able to steal the initiative so that they couldn't just kill us by going through the Undercity a bunch of times. Like, that match was absolutely crazy. That was the highlight of the league, in my opinion. But as far as sideboard goes, I mean, the only thing I would say is I kind of wished the Ensnaring Bridge was in the sideboard a few times so I could tutor it out with Karn instead of just trying to draw to it naturally. So maybe rework the sideboard a little bit. and then maybe something like an all is dust in the sideboard to be able to wipe up when your opponent goes wide. But we were able to use the Ugins together to be able to clear up the board again in that initiative matchup. But yeah, the deck was an absolute blast to play. It was a ton of fun. If you want to emulate the old 12 post style, just ramp out a bunch of big shit and kill your opponent that way, this is definitely a really cool way to go about this deck. And it was super cool that it leaned hard into the Ugin theme with two different Ugins that were super relevant every time we played them as removal, card draw, gaining us life, getting us back in the game, stabilizing the board. So super, super cool deck. It was a blast to play. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.